Welcome to another episode on business strategy. I am Dr. Maxwell Ubah, your strategy and business transformation coach. 3 weeks ago, we started a series on the importance of an effective business strategy. 2 weeks ago, we discussed how an effective strategy could increase your chances of success by reducing reliance on luck. And last week, we examined how it helps your business thrive in the marketplace. Today's episode deals with optimizing resources for maximum impact. Few aspects define a leader's strategic ability as much as maximizing scarce resources. Take Africa, for example. According to the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, and I quote, Africa is home to 30% of the world's mineral reserves. The continent has 40% of the world's gold and up to 90% of its chromium and platinum. It also holds the largest reserves of cobalt, diamonds, platinum, and uranium in the world. Additionally, Africa possesses 65% of the world's arable land and 10% of the planet's internal renewable freshwater source. End of quote. If resources solely determine greatness, Africa will be a prosperous continent. However, the reality is different, as Africa ranks the lowest in almost all economic growth indices compared to other continents. The problem lies in Africa's inability to effectively leverage and maximize its resources. As I noted earlier, a leader's strategic ability is most evident in the judicious use of scarce resources to create competitive advantages for the organization. Let's look at another example. About 50 years ago, Nigeria experienced an oil boom due to ascending international oil prices. The then head of state proudly claimed that the country's problem was not money but how to spend it, implying that Nigeria had more money than it could utilize. However, over the years, Nigeria failed to capitalize on this windfall, and despite repeated opportunities, the country has little to show for it. The lesson is clear. Without strategic clarity on how to utilize resources to build capabilities, an abundance of resources can lead to waste. Leadership lacking strategic clarity is often associated with waste and corruption. Waste, corruption, and poor economic development are telltale signs of the absence of strategic foresight, and unfortunately, they have been the obstacles for many African countries. Waste represents a myopic view of resources that squanders them on personal benefits at the expense of the greater national good. It is a failure to sacrifice today for the security of the future generation, ultimately destroying opportunities for future prosperity. This is precisely why you need a strategy. The judicious use of resources creates competitive advantages and secures the future of an organization or nation. So why do you need a strategy? To help you deploy your scarce resources for maximum impact. If Africa and Nigeria needed a strategy to maximize their abundant resources, imagine the importance of strategic clarity for your company with limited resources. Africa's case perfectly illustrates what Richard Orty called the resource curse in 1993. The resource curse, also known as the paradox of plenty, explains how abundant resources do not necessarily translate into economic growth. It is not resources that determine greatness, but rather the strategic use of those resources to create competitive advantages. If strategy is necessary to maximize the abundance of resources, it becomes even more crucial during times of scarcity, which is becoming increasingly common for businesses and governments today. Consequently, Having an effective strategy for maximizing scarce resources is more important than ever. A well-defined strategy enables a company to do four things very well. First, it allows you to focus on priorities. Identifying priorities allows you to concentrate on what truly matters. Second, it allows you to allocate resources wisely. Understanding your goals helps allocate resources to critical areas, avoiding waste on non-essential tasks or projects. Thirdly, it helps you eliminate redundancies. Identifying and eliminating redundant or inefficient processes frees up valuable resources for your organization. And finally, it encourages innovation and creativity. Scarce resources force creative thinking, leading to more efficient processes and better outcomes. In summary, an effective strategy helps the business allocate its resources efficiently, focusing on areas that provide the most significant competitive advantages. By identifying key priorities and aligning resources accordingly, a company can optimize its operations and maximize its return on investment. This is another compelling reason why you need a well-defined strategy. So, do you have a well-crafted strategy in place? Does your strategy allow you to focus and concentrate your resources on what really matters? Or are you spreading yourself thin just to please everyone? Till I come your way again next week, remember your ability to create competitive advantages is determined by how you utilize your scarce resources. Thank you for listening. Please feel free to share and don't forget to leave a comment on our YouTube page.
For more on strategy, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Strategy House Limited.